I'm mainly watching now Korean programs. No, I'm serious. I'm watching
just so you can see white people.
Yeah, just like the yellow people, just so I can watch something where they're not wheeling in a black person or a lesbian or a tranny every 10 minutes, because Koreans, for some bizarre reason, don't have to follow DEI rules, so they don't have to make 50% of the cast black and 50% women, 50% lesbians and 50% trannies. And I watched 3 programs last week, which you may or may not have seen. One was called High Life with Robert Pattinson. Have you heard that? It's a space adventure. No. One was called The Madness, which had a picture of a black man.
I've seen the first episode.
It's a film, I think.
It's a series.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, okay. 8 episodes. I watched the first episode.
Yeah.
My wife didn't like it, so I've not watched it anymore since.
Yeah.
I will.
Yeah.
I thought it was okay. I'm going to carry on watching that.
And the third was Electric Dreams, which is a science fiction series. Right. So High Life with Robert Pattinson was pretty boring. Yep. So as I always do when I'm watching them, it's pretty boring. I'm then looking at the actors, or they're looking at go on Wikipedia, don't you? Look at the actors and what they do and things like that. So I quite like Robert Pattinson. I think he's a good actor. But then what was really intrigued me was, so it said, I looked at his kind of background, and he went to a school, then he went to drama school and all that, and then I looked at his wife, and his wife was a singer and dancer, and then I looked at his sisters, and I think he's got 2 sisters, and they're both actresses, stroke models, and I looked through it and I thought, there's nobody who actually bloody does anything here. They're all fantasists. I mean, he's a good actor, but it's just like they're not actually, and we go back to this theme about people not doing stuff anymore. And what struck me was how unproductive his entire family appeared to be. I mean, I know he's a good actor and he just generated revenue for the UK and stuff like that, but I think the rest of his family, they're kind of just, I'm an actor stroke model or whatever, And I thought, not only are they not really producing anything, but when they get together, what do they talk? All they talk about is the same shit, isn't it? About transgender visibility and pan-romantics and all that sort of stuff. And isn't Trump terrible? And thank God for Kamala. And they're all living in this incredibly eclectic, esoteric bubble where all they see is a fantasy world that they inhabit, and that's all they talk about.
Worse than that, I don't mind them talking about that because I don't care. It's the fact of the nepotism. Once you get one famous person in Hollywood or acting, all your family members have got an open. Doesn't mean they're all successful, but they've got an open door to go through. Going, that's my brother, that's my dad, that's and you see the nepotism through all the time.
And you see these kids of these sort of grotty, ugly kids of these famous actors who've probably been neglected through most of their childhood.
Bono's daughter, you watched in school, you said she was crap.
Bono's daughter, and you see, she's an actress, and you think, oh my, what a massive coincidence. Her father was an actor or a singer or whatever, and she's obviously got the same genetics because she's gone on to do exactly the same thing. It must be, it's a dynasty, isn't it, of that talent. And of course she's just crap. Then I watched The Madness, the one you were just... So there was a film a while ago about a black guy, and I said, watch this, it's actually quite... Do you remember what it was called?
Ridge something.
Blue Ridge or Ridge something, yeah. And I started watching, I thought, here we go, racist, white, blah, 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 whatever. And it wasn't, it was fantastic.
Good film.
So I thought, I know, I'm learning now, I'm overcoming my racism, my homophobe. I'm going to watch this, even though I'm, scared that maybe it might. But I think, given Blue Ridge or Ridge Mountain or whatever it was called was. So I started watching it, and it's a black guy, and of course, he's a high-achieving black television presenter, TV presenter, living in a fantastic house, and he goes away for a fantastic holiday in somewhere like this. Anyway, he goes to this fantastic, and of course, I'm sure it happens all the time in America. Most of these cottages around lakes are populated with black people, aren't they? Black families, wealthy black lawyers and doctors and stuff like that. So he went next door, and there's a guy he said hello to in the morning. He comes to borrow something off him later, and the guy's dead, chopped into pieces, basically. Anyway, so he then the guys who did it see him, and he goes on the run basically, and eventually the police rescue him, and he goes to the police station, and then a guy comes in and goes, that guy you saw, he's so-and-so, so-and-so, leader of the white supremacist group, such and such.
Yes, he did, yeah.
And that's the point where I went... Because it's so... They're still doing it, Nick. They're still doing the same bullshit, aren't they? You know, wealthy black guy is chased through the woods by an extreme white supremacist group. And the guy was going, these are... And the black guy goes, before I turned off, he said, these are the worst people in our society. And then I went... And I didn't watch anymore. I refused to watch anymore.
Well, I got beyond that. I got to the end of the first episode, and I probably would watch another one. I know, once you said it, was like, yeah, I remember going, really? Does that have to be about white supremacy? But, yeah, so they look like they're trying to, he's being framed up for killing a white supremacy. Yeah. It's annoying.
And then Electric Dreams, and this is from about a few years ago, it's 4 or 5 years old. It had Anna something. She used to be in the vampire things.
No.
And she was a hot, sexy cop, and she went home and she sat down and she was thinking about something or whatever. Yeah. And then a woman comes in, and I thought, oh, that must be her flatmate. So the flatmate comes in. Next minute, they're snogging and making love because, of course,
the lesbians.
Yeah. So I thought, God, it was actually quite a good story, so I did actually watch it to the end, but I thought, will they just stop for a second? Give us a bloody break, will you? They have to do it. You can't. I'm mainly watching now Korean programs. No, I'm serious. I'm watching
just so you can see white people.
Yeah, just like the yellow people, you know, just so I can watch something where they're not wheeling in a black person or a lesbian or a tranny every 10 minutes, you know, because Koreans, for some bizarre reason, don't have to follow DEI rules, so they don't have to make 50% of the cast black and 50% women, 50% lesbians and 50% trannies, and it's just, so it's either it rests or dies on the story, whereas anything you watch from America now, within a few minutes, you get it, don't you? So
it does, but it's slowly changing.
Yes,
it is slowly changing.
Yes, and I think you're right. And I think there was an interesting article this week about the latest movies to come out of Hollywood they've actually started to give instructions. We don't want the woke crap in this anymore. Yeah. So a lot of the movies coming out now don't have any reference to because I think it was Snow White and something else, and one of the Buzz Lightyear films had two female characters kissing, and that's all all started because those films just bomb basically.
They're spending hundreds of millions on it, and making no money back.
Yeah,
and at the end of the day, it's a business.
Yeah, exactly.